What's up everyone? Welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to show you how I made this insanely cool picture frame. I'm going to make my frame out of two different species of wood. I got some maple and I have some walnut. Now my frame's going to be kind of thick because I got some chunky artwork to go in it. So I'm going to mill the maple down to about 7/8 and the walnut down to a little bit thicker than that. I need some pretty thick walnut for this one, so I went ahead and grabbed a slab and cut that up because, well, it makes people really angry whenever I use wood to make stuff. For the maple, I could just use regular 4/4 boards, and that means I didn't have to deal with any sort of rioters outside of my house. I cut all my pieces to width over at the table saw. I got some walnut pieces, I got some maple pieces. Now the walnut ones are about 1/4 inch thicker and about 1/4 inch wider than the maple ones. So now I need to cut these to their final length. I'm gonna need some 20 inchers and some 14 inchers. The pieces are cut. Now I need to embed the maple one into the walnut one. So I'm gonna go back over to the table saw and cut out a giant channel until they fit snugly into place. I'm just gonna use a ripping blade, sneak up on my cut until everything is perfect. When cutting out this channel, I'm removing a whole lot of material. I could have used a dado blade for this, but then I would have had to cut all my pieces, raise the blade up, cut it again, and it would end up being the same amount of work. So I just threw a ripping blade in there, made multiple passes until I got what I wanted. Walnut fits right over the maple, perfect. Now I want to draw a cool pattern on this piece of walnut. Combination square. Let's do something like, put a mark there. Do some 45-degree angles. And we can do a runner down the sides here. So I'm gonna go over to the bandsaw, cut away this part, and this part. Marking the waist on this is crucial because I know me, and I know that if I did it, then there's no telling which parts I would have cut out with this. Once it was all cut out, I put it on top of that maple, and man, that looks really cool. I used some files and some sandpaper to clean up all these inside parts. Now I can glue it straight on the maple. These look really cool. Now I need to turn these fancy boards into a fancy picture frame. So I'm gonna go back over to the table saw and cut the miter joints on each one of the corners so we can, put them together. I got the miters cut, so now I need to put a rabbet on the back side of these. Now I could glue together the whole frame, then hit it with a rabbeting bit, but I tend to like to do my rabbets before I do glue up. So I'm gonna cut those over the table saw with a ripping blade, just a couple passes, and that'll be good. And then also I'm gonna reinforce this joint with a domino. You could also use dowels if you wanted to, or you could glue it together and then hit it with some splines here in the corner, but I'm kind of looking for a really simplistic, clean looking frame and don't want to go over the top. I cut some rabbets using a ripping blade over the table saw. Pretty straightforward, nothing remarkable when it comes to this. Then I put some dominoes into those miter joints, just trying to strengthen up that joint a bit. I glued everything together, let it dry overnight. Then come back, do a whole lot of sanding, a lot of hand sanding to try to get around all those weird shapes that are in this frame. That is a cool looking frame. I'm really happy with it. So now it's time to apply finish. I'm gonna go with one of my old standbys, which is Armor Seal by General Finishes. Really good finish, I like it. It's a wipe on poly. I'm probably gonna apply 3 coats or so to it. Had to apply finish using a little tiny brush to get in all those tight spaces. This picture frame has a lot of weird angles to it, so I gotta get those first. But the rest of it, really easy, just a rag, applying super thin coats evenly across it, and I ended up applying 3 coats. This was an incredibly satisfying project. I love the frame. I wanted something unique. I wanted something different. I wanted something that kind of went with the scroll saw project that I was making to kind of mimic some of those rocks. And I think I did it. I'm really, really happy with it. If you want to see how I made this really cool scroll saw project, check out the video up here that goes to my scroll saw channel, NewtonMakes Art, dedicated to awesome scroll saw projects. So check it out, maybe subscribe to that one. Until we meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome. See ya.